All right. Welcome, Savy. So happy to have you here. I'm just blessed and honored to have an expert like you on here. 30 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. Incredible. Not many people can say that. The ability for you to know the human body and intuit with your experience, but also the broad range of other topics like fitness. You were a fitness instructor.
Yes.
So, and now you're specializing in detoxification.
Yes.
That's your primary
Yes.
Focus. But did I leave anything out?
Well, iridology, the ability to read the iris, right? I can do that as well. And in fact, yesterday I met with an older woman and her fiance at a Panera Bread here in Nampa about the patches.
There you go.
and her husband, or her husband to be, she says, has Parkinson's, and that's what they call it. They call it Parkinson's. I don't like to use their words, because from a detoxification standpoint, we know that it's just a toxicity issue and maybe a nutrient deficiency issue. They call it that. But from the standpoint of an iridologist, I could see in his iris very clearly, even from across the table, that he had what's called a nerve ring in his eye. And that's likened to the fact that he has this challenge that they call Parkinson's, which is a nervous system issue. But I could see it in his eye because he had blue eyes and I could plainly see it. The brown eye is a little harder to read with iridology just because it's brown. And so, you have to really look with a light to really read the brown eye. But the blue eye, in his case, and he's around 80 years old, you could plainly see it. And the eye also had a glare in it that almost looked like he had contacts in, which he did not. But the eye looked like that. And so the more educated you get non-invasively with the human body to where you're not causing anybody pain, which leads to fear, it's a joy to be able to have the knowledge to help people. And that's the beauty of our patch that you and I will talk about.
Right. And that's why we're here. We're starting our series of exploring our Lifewave patches, and there's 14 of them. And so, of course, the feature number one is X39. And so, yes, that's why we're here to chat about that. So, questions. I have so many questions that I get when I'm introducing patches.
Sure.
One of the first things that I get is disbelief. Disbelief in the fact that it is non-invasive, it's like a Band-Aid, and it does so much. And I'm saying, I'm giving the good news, as you say, the good news, like this thing is amazing. And then they look at it and they say, no, you're pulling the wool over my eyes and there's no way. So how should or could I respond to that in a way that is helpful, helpful for the explanation of this patch?
Yes. And so for the average person, that would be difficult, right? As you and I just talked about. They might not even know what a peptide is, right? Yeah. And so there's a little bit of education there, kind of, and it's really like an art almost in how to get around this, because it's like an objection because they don't believe, right? And so I like to use, the best analogy that everybody knows is to just use the sunlight. And so in using the sunlight as an example, you use the analogy of the sun is like 93 million miles away, yet on planet Earth, there would be no life without it, right? And so the sun's rays, which is light frequency in wavelengths, comes down and hits our skin and can cause you to sweat which is a detox, really. So sweating is a detox. It can also increase melanin, which is interesting because it sort of is almost like an antioxidant, melanin in the skin. You get tan, right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, the sunlight hits the lipids in your skin and cholesterol, and then the body is triggered to manufacture vitamin D3 somehow.
Right. Excellent.
You're like, and D3, can we live without it? Not very well, because D3 is intimately involved in the immune system and bone density, right? So the analogy is sunlight. And so it's interesting because yesterday I talked to somebody about the fact that I had a friend of mine that grew a tomato plant and what looked like sand. I mean, it looked like sand. And yet up comes, thanks to the sun's rays, up comes a plant that turns green because of the sun's rays. It creates chlorophyll, turns it green. And you have a pretty stable stem, right? And now this plant, this tomato plant that looks like it's in sand, is able to pull water out of what looks like sand into a little bud that turns green, that grows into this big, beautiful red tomato full of water and what looks like sand. And so from the earth, water in the earth, minerals, hopefully in the soil, and the sun's rays, you get this beautiful watery tomato. Humans, we take in the sun's rays. We're full of water, or we should be, right? Full of water, dehydrated. And then hopefully it's structured water. We absorb the sun's rays, and then we could produce certain things in our body as well. Well, when we wear the patch, right? The power plant, the battery for the patch is our own body, because humans emit light. We emit light, hence infrared goggles. So we emit light. And so this is a crystal matrix on the patch. Well, crystals reflect light. And so when our own light hits the crystal matrix, it trampolines back into our own body. So it's our own light being re-reflected back, but with a different wavelength to create a certain response.
Yeah.
In this case, it activates stem cells. Through a process it has to go through first to get there. Would you like me to explain the process?
Yes. Share with us the process of, and I know starts with the creation of that peptide.
Yes.
So, yeah. Can you share what that peptide is for people who don't know what a peptide is?
Yeah. So a peptide is what ends up producing proteins, right? So you have individual peptides that end up producing proteins. In the case of the patch, we have 1, 2, 3 amino acids, which leads to peptides. So the chemistry is amino acids first. And so we have GHK, 3 amino acids, a tripeptide. You get that first. You get GHK gets elevated from this patch through a light signal.
Yeah. And so then pause there, because I know people will want to know, well, what is GHK? And it has to do with a child. And as a child, we have so much of this, and what happens when we age. Can you share that?
Yeah. So I think what you're speaking of, as a child, we have quite a few active stem cells. And that's what goes down with age. So as we go through GHK, which the patch elevates, that is a tripeptide, which is very attracted to a trace mineral, copper. And so what will happen is the GHK and the copper bind together, and now I get GHK copper peptides.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. This helps so much. Thank you. Yeah.
So what's interesting now is there's a scientist out there, and I don't remember what year he discovered this. It might have been in the 70s. His name is Lauren Pickard. He's a scientist, and he discovered the GHK copper peptide. He discovered that. And there's literally an entire book, science book, just on the benefits of GHK copper peptides. And I mean, to name a few would be massively boosting collagen, which is the glue that holds us together, keeps our skin tight, keeps our hair thick, etc., which goes down with age, as you just mentioned. So the GHK copper peptides also decrease in age with collagen, the collagen formation, and that hence wrinkles.
Yes.
Thinning hair, bald heads. If a woman, say, had 4, 5, 6, 7 children, and maybe her uterus and bladder now have dropped, prolapsed, or even a transverse prolapsed colon. All of these things are related to loss of collagen.
Wow. Yes.
Right? So instead of Botox or fillers for beauty, we can boost collagen back again.
Absolutely.
Naturally. But more important than even beauty is the fact that your cardiovascular system, your arteries, have some of this involved there too, right? Hence varicose veins and spider veins and even gut tissue deterioration there. It's all based in collagen formation, which GHK copper peptides boost.
Right.
We haven't even got the stem cells yet, right?
Yeah,
we're only GHK copper peptides. Copper, the trace mineral copper is intimately involved in bone matrix, intimately involved in our electrical system, right? Copper wires in homes, right? Or whatever.
Right. So can I pause you there because the copper is fascinating, because in Ayurvedic healing, they recommend drinking your water from a copper vessel.
Yes.
Yes. Because of the charge.
Yes. And so again, not just copper, all the minerals, let's say a minimum of 60 up to say 78 minerals. We are in America, especially, we are very deficient in all of the minerals. But copper is a trace mineral, but extremely important. So calcium is a macro, big dog, and copper is a trace. But just because it's trace doesn't mean it's less important. You just need less of it.
Right.
But like selenium and zinc, those are trace minerals, but you have to have them, right? So again, with the patch, if somebody has a hard time believing in it, you go to the sun analogy. And then, of course, we have tons and tons of clinical evidence that they can read. They can go to the science tab of our site and just read. It's all there. But most Americans don't read either. So,
right. So a lot just want to know what it does. And so the testimonials are incredibly important for that, for all of that. Absolutely.
Which is, you and I love science. I love it, the science part. But most people would rather just hear somebody go, I've had rheumatoid arthritis for 60 years. I've tried all the drugs. I thought about surgeries. I even went to Mexico and had a stem cell injection and a stem cell IV drip. I got very little out of it. I spent a lot of money. And in 18 days, this little patch has given me more relief after 60 years of suffering.
Yep. And this is one testimonial.
This is a true testimonial. Yes.
So many like that. It's incredible.
So you say, why?
Yeah.
Why? So now we go, GHK copper peptides, lots of benefits, a whole book written on it. From there, though, the patch of GHK copper peptides are what they call epigenetic, meaning that they have an effect on the genes of our body, right? And so far and counting, the patch also via GHK copper peptides regulates up or down 4,100 of the genome, up or down. Turn this switch on, turn that switch off, turn this one on, turn that one on, turn this one off. So as a piano tuning analogy, out of your 4,100 genes, maybe this many were turned on, this many were turned off. In my case, it was a little different. This is where we're the same, but we're also different. And so now we have genetic switches turned on and off, also with this patch.
Wow, that is fascinating. I did not know about the gene aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So just to be clear, the regulation, why do we want the regulations of our genes in the first place?
Well, some people have, for example, some pathways, detoxification pathways in their body that are shut down. They're not working properly. They're not turned on. They're sleeping.
I'm getting it now. They're totally getting it. Yeah. So it is to create this homeostasis and this balance, because some things are turned on and some things are off. You want the good things to turn on.
Yes.
And then what about it? I've heard that there's some genes that are not so good, or that
So maybe through, for example, pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, plastics, radiation pollution, a lack of sleep, heavy metals. There are things now that are turned on in a negative way, and, relating to what they would call the C word, cancer. And we want to turn that off.
Wow. Big piece of the puzzle for me. I appreciate you, Savy. That is excellent. Really good.
Yeah. And so with genetic switches, it's almost like a hybrid or a mutant that happens, because, like they say, a cancer cell is not normal, because it's living, the cancer cell can live in low oxygen, very low oxygen.
Anaerobic, right? Is that the word?
Yeah. Yes. And so, but there's a reason for that too. So with gene regulation, the body, with the genius of the body, like a divine intelligence, that it knows, let's turn these off for now and turn these on until we get the liver pathways open and the kidneys filtering, etc. And the body knows what to do, but it needs the chemical messenger to turn the whole switch on for this gene regulation to start working again, type of thing. Well, it's 4,100 genes that are regulated by this patch via GHK copper peptide pathways. Okay.
Yeah.
Then from there you get stem cell activation. And so you get three things.
Okay. And
if people are like, well, this is too much.
There might be, but people who are watching this are, just, if you've made it this far, you're one of us. you're one
of us. And then but the simple analogy is this for folks: sunlight analogy, and then live testimonials of people that have either the same thing you have or very similar to what you have. And we have now, I believe, we have around 3,000 of those. I just sent somebody one this morning, actually, on like frozen shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found one on the shoulder, especially like if there were athletes, pitchers in baseball.
Yep.
Tennis players, right?
Yep.
And now they've got this shoulder thing. And so we have testimonials. You send them it, watch it. It's only 30 minutes.
Yep. Thank you. You did that for me too. I was with my girlfriend who broke her foot. And I'm like, well, let me see if there's any broken foot testimonials. And it's fascinating because in the testimonial, there's some that put multiple patches on the injury So that's a question. Can you use the multiple patches when you need intense healing like that? It's really
and for example, there's one of our doctors in my personal group with the patches now. I think we're up to like 41 doctors, which is adds a lot of credibility too for the ones that are having doubts. We have like 41 doctors just in my group, right? And when I say doctors, I mean functional medicine, naturopaths, homeopaths, acupuncture experts, chiropractors, etc. These are the type, and a few MDs are starting to trickle in too now, right? Nurse practitioners, like that. Well, one of the doctor's wives blew her ankle up, just trashed her ankle, ligaments, tendons, a mess, right? Icing, crutches, right? The whole thing. And in the world of surgery, if you talk to a surgeon, he's going to want to do what? Surgery.
Absolutely.
That's how he gets paid. So no surprise there. He wants to do surgery. Well, she used a patching system of 3 different patches.
Okay.
Let me see if I can remember which 3. I believe it was X39, Eon, possibly glutathione, and then she might have also traded in and out with the 49, X49, which builds bone density. Ligaments and tendons are made of what? Collagen. So the 39 boost what? GHK copper peptides, which does what? Boosts collagen. Okay. And so roundabout, rest, patches, 3-patch system. Well, I interviewed her on stage, and there was her ankle with the 3-patch system on right there in front of me. And she said, hey, unbelievable. Get rid of the surgery. I'm not doing that. I canceled it. I'm back to normal. And now I'm wearing it as maintenance for just a little bit longer. And then I'll go probably to the 1-patch.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, 3 patches at once. Yes.
And then people, I can hear them. Well, how long did it take?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to remember, but I have her testimonial here somewhere.
And we will put it in the link.
We'll put it in the link. Let me find it. I'll send it to you, Tom.
And then we'll put it in the link. Show notes.
I'm going to say, on average, okay, for an injury, on average, let's say, depending on how severe the injury, I'm going to go with probably at least 90 days, probably, right? But for really, really difficult challenges, lupus, Lyme's disease, the C word, fibromyalgia, the bigger challenges, rheumatoid, these types of things, even if I were to send you to Hippocrates Health Clinic in Florida, run by Brian Clement down there, started by Ann Wigmore, the wheatgrass queen. Mm-hmm. If I was to send you there, and I don't even know what it costs, but I promise you it's more than these patches.
Right.
With a full-time staff. And you stayed there for months and months with a full-time staff. And they rebooted you and then sent you home. It's going to still be 2 years. Roundabout. But if you've had rheumatoid, like Rose, on the testimonial that I related to you, if you've had rheumatoid for 60 years, 2 years is nothing to get better.
Absolutely.
And all you have to do, if you could put on a Band-Aid, I got you covered here, okay? If you can put on a Band-Aid, we got you covered. Now, if it's me, and you were my brand new person sitting in front of me, and I care about you, because I do. I care about your health. I don't want you to suffer at all. I want you to feel good, not sometimes, all the time. I'm going to say, Tal, let's make sure that we get the most out of this patch. Okay, please, I want you to take plant-derived preferably liquid, minerals. Because we emit light. But how do you turn the light on in your house? Electricity, right?
Yes.
Electricity. What do we have in our bodies for electricity? Electrolytes, minerals. Because we need power.
Electrolytes, very similar to electricity. I didn't get that connection before. That's excellent.
It is, right? So electricity, electrolytes, minerals. Now, we talked about GHK, three aminos, and we said there's 22 aminos.
Yep.
Also, GHK, the K is lysine, essential. That means you have to get it from the diet. Yep. So just to be careful, what I do, I'm taking my minerals, but then if I make a smoothie, which I do every day, I take my amino acid powder that's got all 22, and I put scoops of powder in my smoothie just to be sure. So if my diet sucks today, I put in the aminos anyway in the smoothie. If I'm going to buy the patch, even though they're like $3.30 a day, nothing compared to stem cell injections, go price that out. Or price out a couple of nights in the ICU, price that out. Okay? Just to make sure. Aminos and minerals.
Excellent. That's new to me too. The importance of making sure you have the raw materials in order to create the peptide, which activates the stem cells. So that's raw materials, key, absolutely key. All right. So can we go to the technical aspect? 12 hours on.
Oh, yes.
12 hours off. Can you share with us why that is significant?
Yes. All right. So let's think about it again. Let's use the sunlight. What would happen to all of us if the sun never sets ever?
Yeah.
Before it's over with, we're all going to fry.
That's a good concept to contemplate. Right? Yeah. Not a good idea.
Sunscreen, no sunscreen. You're going to sunburn before it's over. Forget it. Okay. So the sun sets. So with us, and I liken, just to let everybody know, I liken stem cells to contractors. They're contractors. They're going through your body, repairing and regenerating tissue. Contractors, okay? What do contractors need? They need tools and materials. That's the minerals and the aminos. Last on that. The minerals and the aminos are the tools and the materials for the contractors, the stem cells.
Yep.
Now, when I put the patch on, I put it on 99% of everybody. We put it on during the day.
Yep.
For 12 hours. Because if you leave it on past that, and sometimes you forget, don't freak out, just skip a day. But you hit a term that's called attenuation, which means you're going to now become overstimulated. And you're going to lose the effect. Okay? You're overstimulated. Just like if the sun never sets, you're going to sunburn.
Got it.
So take it off. The stem cell contractors went to the job sites during the day. When you sleep at night, they're at work repairing and regenerating tissue.
Great. All right. So I wanted to keep this fairly concise and short. So I have one other question, and then I'll let you conclude for us. My introduction to the stem cell, intuitively, I hold it because I'm very intuitive. Yeah. So I got my patch, and I don't know why, and there's no reason for it, but I do listen to my intuition. I needed to wear the patch at night.
Okay.
I need it for my body.
Okay.
So why would that be necessary for somebody to wear it at night?
Because when you when you go to sleep, hopefully, that's an epidemic too. But if you sleep, that's when you repair. That's when you repair because you're going on a 7, 8, 9 hour fast. You're fasting. And so your body should be able to concentrate all its energy, not on digesting food. So hopefully you finished your last meal, I hope at least by 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating now at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Okay, so I can get that 16-hour intermittent fasting window. So, so say you eat at 5, not at 9, and you go to bed, and now your body can focus on repairing tissue. And it's detoxing at night, right? That's why in the morning, maybe they have some goobers in the eyes and you want to clean your tongue and you're going to the bathroom in the morning. It's a detox cleansing, repairing tissue while you sleep. So in your case,
let me share with you my age, because it's because of that. I'm 54.
Okay.
So the hormonal surges at night, the hot flashes, it helps me with that.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, and looking at you right now and just looking at you, face to face, I've only met face to face. And this is in almost 31 months. I've only met you and Dr. Schmeling face to face that wear the patch at night. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I asked him, why are you wearing it at night? He said, because I'm repairing tissue and detoxing when I sleep, and it's not messing with my energy. It's not waking me up.
No.
But there's a lot of people, most people, that it will keep them awake.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Because it might boost their energy. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can get away with it like you do, it might actually even be more effective. They haven't done a study on it, but it might be even more effective if you can get away with it.
Yeah. No, I get this feeling, this like tingly feeling of affirmation, even now when we're talking, that it is absolutely correct for me. And that's how I know the truth. We talked about that pineal gland.
Let me tell you something. You're in tune with, and this is what people need to learn. So when I was a trainer, the first thing that I taught people as a trainer, and you and I talked about this before, was for them to be aware of their own kinetic chain, how they stand. Your shoulders are fluid. One shoulder is lower than the other. One leg is shorter than the other. When you walk, your right leg dominant. You're pushing off on your right leg more than the left. These are things that they never thought about, right?
Yep.
You're standing with your head like this, etc. And we line them up like a building, weight-bearing joints, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and then the head sits here. We want this kinetic chain nice and even. But they weren't aware of that. They didn't even think about that. They just went, my shoulder is always killing me. Well, here's why.
Yep.
It's muscle imbalances. So think about it. You got 206 bones, 640 muscles. Which one do you think rules here? The muscles are pulling your joints out of place, right?
Yep.
So you go into the chiropractor.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. I'm like, that's why you have to go back to the chiropractor, because the muscles are the issue, not the bones.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you do get your kinetic chain figured out and you do get an adjustment, now it stays put for a while.
Yep. Love it. Love it.
So,
right. So I think we addressed some of the main questions. How does the patch work? How do you use the patch? The injury is huge, big deal when people are injured or are working on something, that it does not happen overnight. It may take a year or two.
It's not a drug.
Yeah.
So if you have nerve pain, you have disc degeneration, and you have nerve pain, sciatica going down your leg past the knee, and it's painful. Okay.
Yep. All the way to
they will give you gabapentin, a nerve drug. Okay, so they shut down the pain. But is there a danger in that? Because now you're not feeling the pain, and maybe you decided to go do 20 burpees over here or squats with weight.
Yeah.
And now you made the back even worse because you didn't feel the pain. No. The pain is almost a protective mechanism. And then when you naturally get out of it, no drugs, then you know that now we're actually healed now.
Yes.
We're healed now.
Inside out healing, not putting a Band-Aid, a pain. Yeah, absolutely correct. And that's so interesting because I have been teaching for a long time yoga. And one of the first questions I ask is, please do not, or I state no painkillers when you're coming to yoga class. It's counterproductive. Do not, because you can injure yourself.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Very good. Because then I'm sure while they're doing yoga, especially your style of yoga, which is yoga times 5,
all different levels.
They're going to know, like, okay, so my body just told me I'm weak over here. I'm weak. And so what you do with your yoga is you uncover weaknesses.
Yeah.
When you detox, you uncover weaknesses.
Yeah, a whole nother topic. I cannot wait to dive into your philosophy on detoxing. It's going to be fascinating, and I know many people will want to hear about it. But on the X39, let's just close up.
Yeah.
Yep. Is there anything that you feel that we missed essentially about this patch?
There is, because it's going to now deal with economics. And so the average American probably does between $70,000 and $80,000 a year. The average knee replacement surgery in America is like between $30,000 and $50,000. And so if we go through the middle and we go with a $40,000 knee replacement surgery, and these patches a month, or $100 a month, 30 patches, I can get 33 years of X39 for the cost of one knee replacement surgery. And now I can boost my collagen and have contractors in my bloodstream repairing head to toe.
I'm smiling because that is the ultimate contrast. That is the ultimate contrast. Surgery to repair, from the outside in.
Oh, yeah.
Or versus
and remembering when you have any kind of surgery, bar trauma, car wrecks or whatever, but any kind of surgery, think about it. They have to, say back surgery, they have to cut through the skin and nerves, fascia, muscle, and then they get down into bones near your spinal cord, and they are working around here, putting metal in to your body, versus could we have done it preventatively, hopefully preventatively, by keeping your collagen, the glue, up, and stem cells every day, 12 hours every day.
Yep.
For like $3.33.
Yep. And then that goes back to the first question that we started with, the disbelief, that it can be that simple. And
testimonials.
Be that easy. And then just go to the testimonials.
Testimonials. Yep. We've got like 3,000 of them and counting.
Yeah.
Every day we get 2 more.
It's incredible. Oh, I love it. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And this is the first one, X30. And that was great how you described the technology of the patch. with the light. That's really important. We'll use that and help people refer to this first video. And then also we recorded the Lifewave, the company, and what the foundation of the company and who our founder is and all of that. So be sure to go to that video. We'll put that in the show links as well. All right.
That's right. And I need to get you the, was it the rheumatoid arthritis testimonial?
It was the injury of the ankle.
Oh, the ankle. Yes. Okay. I'll get you.
We'll take the rheumatoid arthritis one too. The lady, 60 years. Right. That will be a good one to put in.
Both.
All right.
That's where the secret sauce is hearing it from the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's most people only care about, am I going to get better?
Excellent. All right. So we'll see you next week, right? We'll schedule and we'll do the I don't know. Do we have I'll pick. I'll surprise us.
You surprise us.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Have a great weekend.
Okay. I wanted to tell you.
Any last thoughts?
Are we still recording?
Yes, we are still recording.
I wanted to tell you that what you've done up to this point prior to the patches, you said you were 54.
Yep.
And I will tell you, from a person looking from the outside, they might think 34. So what you've done already up to this point has worked. Now imagine now going forward.
Yeah. And I had been in my mind going, well, should I tell them my own personal experience? My personal experience is my hair was falling out. Now look at my hair.
Yeah.
Vanity for sure, but I love the fact that I have thicker hair.
No, it's glorious.
Yeah. And I love the fact that my nails constantly growing. It's like when I was a teenager.
Collagen.
Yeah, insane. The stretch marks on my belly, absolutely transforming,
Really?
Yeah. And the skin is lifted. I mean, you guys, if this
collagen
is on the outside, imagine what's going on the inside.
For real, exactly.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the hair and the skin and all of that, imagine the inside.
Yep. It's incredible.
And that's how the beauty happens.
Yeah. And this is why I'm here with you, Savy, because of this. It's so important for us to share this good news with you.
Oh, it's such good news.
Yeah, such good news.
Especially economically, that the average person, yes, now they can actually afford it.
Yeah.
Think about it. How many people, you can't do $7,000 for these shots?
No.
They can't do it.
Yeah, and then I've heard they do that and then it doesn't do anything.
Oh, or it's adverse.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't get adverse reaction.
Wow.
Because it's inflammatory response.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Could you imagine paying $7,000 and into your knee and it's worse?
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
That leads to depression.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So I'm thrilled that we have this technology.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a hard time believing, tell them to call me.
All right, we will.
All right.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for your time, and
All right.
we need to continue more with our patch series because we have 14 of them.
Oh, I can't wait. And then we'll get into how we can combine them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is fascinating.
Right? How we can
I'm so
combine
excited.
them.
I love your enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love to see people get better, right? Get off the drugs, cancel the surgeries. All these poor people that were suicidally depressed, now they're joyful. It's like my ministry. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. All right, Savy, let's go.
Okay, all right. Talk to you soon.
All right.